Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I just wanted to share something that I thought was very inspirational and empowering. I was just on a episode with my podcast and I met this lady and she's in her late 60s and she was a journalist and she liked going to the gym every day and she her life took a turn and she was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease and later diagnosed with MS and was in a wheelchair and thought this was the end. But instead, she turned her life around completely and went to the gym and started lifting heavy and continued to lift heavy despite her diagnosis. And it rejuvenated her and rebuilt her mindset. And she was able to not cure herself of the disease because you're never cured of MS, but she was able to get it under control. And now she's lifting all the time. She's a motivational coach. She's also an Olympic athlete. And we just did in her interview, she was telling me that she's going to do some competitions in Albania and Germany. Like, it's phenomenal, how like things in our life, when we think they're like negative or drastic outcomes, they're actually blessings in disguise as moving you from something that your time was done in. And it's time to move on to something better. And life always challenges us and throws us curveballs, and we don't understand why, but that's where our mind kind of takes over us and makes us like either depressed or no energy, no motivation. Instead, when something drastic, like say what happened to this poor woman, now not to say that she's a poor woman because she's an inspirational woman and she's doing so many wonderful things to help people. And it's amazing. And that's the beautiful thing about doing something for yourself. I mean, had I still been in the job I was in, I would have never got to hear her story live. I would have heard it on YouTube or something, but I actually got to interview her, and that was amazing. And when you take time for yourself and you realize that you don't want to be in an environment that everyone is just so miserable, and going to work every day it wasn't enjoyable. It was like just going there to exist and like being like a robot or a machine and just following orders and not having a personality, not being positive, not being happy. It's just being told what to do. And if you didn't do that, then you were ousted or you had a target on your back. And it came to a point where I just had enough and I left that job. And the only reason I left that job was because I was blessed from something drastic that happened by losing my mother, but she had left me a way to get away from my job. So I took that and I've never been happier. And I've met so many wonderful people and I've interviewed over 40 people now. And each story, just you learn something. It's like we learn from each other. And because I had the podcast, there was a fella that I met from Sweden, and he was affiliated with this group called This World is a Simulation. And I joined this group and I started learning more about Neville Goddard and how like this is a 3D dimensional world and how we don't understand that we can change and shift our mindset whenever we choose to. And we can change our life when we want to. You can change the person inside of you. And reading books, it just kind of gives you a more openness about what life truly is and how we don't need to be scared of death and how we can build a career just about anything because we're limitless. We're energy. We have these abilities because we were born with these abilities. We were just programmed from birth to follow in a different direction, but life is always going to challenge you and throw you curveballs. But these curveballs are necessary because they take you off that path that you were programmed for. And you can do something you truly love. You can do something you truly enjoy. And you can go to work like you've served a purpose. And that's all we're here to do. And that's my goal, is to serve a purpose. And by having the podcast, I suffered with trauma, but now it's my superpower. Like, I no longer fear trauma. I no longer fear like getting in front of a camera because my coach is like, just do it. To never miss, just keep going. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not missing. I'm just keep going. I'm trusting the process. I'm just enjoying life. And I'm just enjoying my failures because in the end, they're wins. I celebrate my failures just like they're wins because they're guiding me to something more meaningful and something more inspirational. And I love every minute of it. So, like, if any of you are struggling right now, like you've just lost your job or your relationship's ended, I'm here to tell you those are blessings. They're going to direct you and guide you into something more meaningful and wonderful. You just don't see it yet. And don't get lost in your thoughts. Just find that stillness, find that peace, find that form of meditation to calm your mind and talk with your body and communicate with your body. Because your body's a living thing. Everything has consciousness, and we never know that until we step outside of our box, until we step outside of something that's normal to us. But to do that, something drastic has to happen. Well, I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and I wish you all nothing but continued success and limitless possibilities. Much love to you all. Bye.